All right, good morning, everybody. Greeting Clay and KC White. Appreciate the message already. Let me get a couple of things set up, and while we wait for more people to get logged on. As always, if you can hear me and if I sound okay, audible wise, hit that number 1 in the chat box if you don't mind, so we can make sure that everybody can hear me and that I sound good from the audio perspective. So again, if I sound good, I mean, I know I look good, but do I sound okay? Audibly. Kyle, Henster, KB. All right, excellent. Can I get a couple more ones just to make sure that I sound all right? And a reminder to hit that like button if you've been here before and you know that you enjoy the Saturday morning and coffee episodes. Jeremy, all right, awesome. Henster, yep, for the second one. Glad I still sound good to you, Henster. So the first question, the most important question, sound like an angel, very good, is what is your drink of choice on a Saturday morning? For me, good old just black coffee. Black coffee. Got to be careful with coffee. Start throwing in sugars and creamers, and before you know it, you're basically drinking down a milkshake, and that's no good. We want to be healthy. We need to be healthy. All right. Well, it is 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time. So if anybody is new here, this is all viewer driven. We'll go in the direction based off what people are requesting. So if you want a chart analysis on a stock, on a future, on a forex pairing, on a crypto, if you have a question just about trading in general, about life, if you have a question more so kind of Pam's plant, which is what we talk about a lot here, Pam's plant just being right here, which is just an argument for those of you in the day trading category, or for maybe those of you that want to get in the day trading category. It's just a day trading strategy that is essentially explaining why day trading futures through a prop firm makes a whole lot of sense, assuming you want to go about day trading in the most efficient way possible. So if you have a question about that or prop firms or whatever, but yeah, this is all going to be viewer driven. So like I said, maybe this will only be 10 minutes if nobody is really participating. And if that's the case, so be it. It is what it is. But if anybody has, like I said, requests for anything or questions, then by all means, please go ahead and ask them. And we'll take a look at some things. So I'll just start off. We'll kick things off with just looking at the overall market. And we'll start here with the SPY and start on the daily chart here. So overall, and this will mean maybe a little bit more to those of you that watched the video from last Saturday, but the level that we've been watching and continues to remain very relevant is that initial area of resistance right there. Right now, we'll just call it at the 596 mark. So later, pretty much the entire week just spent right below that area. So it's still struggling to push up through there, but I will say that all things considered, it was a good week in the sense of, you have to remember last week there was this pullback here. So it started to become a valid question of, is this going to be a bigger pullback? What's exactly going to happen here? More specifically, what exactly is going to happen at the pink line right there, which on my chart denotes the 200 period moving average. And you can see that the bulls held up strong. Got a bounce back upwards. Now, yes, there's still more work that needs to be done, but I'm just saying within the context of what kind of the question mark last weekend was, okay, it's pulling back. Is the price going to be able to hold strong? And so far, so good. It has been able to hold strong. So, that's going to be definitely the key near-term area of support moving into next week, right there around 574.50. If the price does drop down below that 200-day moving average, and the next level that you got to think everybody's eyes are going to go to is the little brother of the 200-day simple moving average, which would be the 50-day simple moving average, right now valued at 558.75. But so far, so good. Both levels of support held up strong. And now it's just a question of, can the price actually get back above this area, which has been trapped down below. Gotta like the candle from Friday, because when you stop and think about it, at one point this was a red candle, but it was able to fight back upwards. And again, for those of you that are getting logged on, this is viewer driven. If you have a request for a stock, for a futures market, for crypto, or for a forex pairing, let me know in the chat box. once we start to pick up, then maybe super chats are required because super chats bring you to the front of the line. But right now, no super chats are even needed because there haven't been any requests. So now would be the time to make a request because later on down the road, I'm not going to make any promises that I get to your request. That's where the super chats come in play because it brings you to the front of the line. But as of right now, again, you don't even need to do a super chat because you showed up on time. So, you can kind of get a jump on things. All right, now I'm starting to see some things come in. Good. All right. So now I can start to work with some of this stuff. And I should also note that if you are pressed for time, then a super chat, I'll do yours right away. So I'm seeing them right now. Pug, yeah, I see he's typing tall. Gotcha. I'm not sure what tall means, but I see the message. It did show up the first time. But good morning, Joseph. So that's just something else to consider is because I start at the top of the chat box and work my way down. So if you make a request, I may not get to it 10, 15 minutes from when you do it. But I will. Oh, you meant to type TSLL. There we go. That makes a little bit more sense. So, and then let's just drop down to the 30-minute here. And that's got to be a fat finger, right? That's not a real candle. No. Yeah, okay. That must be some sort of fat finger trade because that was all happening on very low volume too. So that's kind of a crazy looking candle, but again, looks like a fat finger trade. On the 30-minute here, I'd say probably in the near term, definitely have some areas of resistance right up here around 590.70. Just going back to the history, you can see rejected the price, rejected the price, rejected the price, and then afternoon rejected and then you have a bunch of other times here, rejected the price. So I'd keep an eye on that. Biggie the best from Germany, Guten Tag. Wait, I think. What is good? Is Guten Tag? Is that good morning or is that good day? I know very, very little Deutsch, even though I am actually German. But whoops. All right. So that's the overall market. Just get us. Jeremy says, Clay, Clay, do you use just support and resistance indicators, or do you also use candlestick? No, I use a combination of the. Yep, I like my candlesticks. I like support and resistance levels. But if you think about it, a candlestick pattern in some ways is the same, and it uses support and resistance. There's some different varieties. All right, so the bot attack person is back. If you're here, bot attack person, talk in the chat room. Let's have a conversation. So no, before people start asking, those are not real views or likes. I upset somebody a couple days ago. Apparently, they're still upset. I'd like to try to figure things out, but I don't know. Now they don't even talk in the chat anymore. But I don't even, yeah. So no, these are not real views or real likes at this point. But we will keep on pressing forward. But if the person is actually here who's doing it, hey, let's have a conversation. Tell me about your algorithm. I think we might have talked past one another. I don't know. All right, let's see here. What made you decide to Biggie the best? Actually, I just did Tesla in this video. Let me see. Well, Netflix hit 8:30 next week. I have no idea. Will it? Nobody knows that. Nobody knows that what the price. I know some people portray like they would know, but no, that's not how it actually works. Let's see here. So yeah, right. Who asked? Biggie the best right here. I'll send you the link, but I do a top 10 list, and Tesla was on this list. So if you want the thoughts on Tesla, Biggie the best, here you go. I'll link you to that video, and then just you can scroll down, and you can watch it right there. Guten Tag is all the time. Good morning is Guten. Okay. What made you decide to start trading futures with prop firms? Um, uh, for the longest time, my private community has told me about futures, and I've heard this saying many times before. Proved to be true that if you survive long enough as a day trader, you'll eventually end up day trading futures because futures just move better, which is completely true. Futures, they're just better with them where they move. But then I pushed back on prop firms just because when they first came out, they seemed a little bit scammy. So I was like, nah, I'm going to hold off on those. But then enough members of my community were like, hey, man, it's been like 2 years now. Look, I've been getting paid. They're not scamming. I mean, some of them, yes, some of them were scams, stuff like that. But once you let certain companies play out long enough, it's like, okay, they've been around for multiple years. They're still paying. Saw enough of that. And there's more to it than that. I did a whole video. But at the end of the day, it's from a day trading standpoint, it makes the most efficient sense. I mean, it is definitely the most efficient way to go about it. Trading on the 15-second chart is nuts. Yeah, we have one member of our private community, and that's she. I shouldn't say she only uses the 15-second chart, but that's one of them she uses. And yeah, it's kind of not something that I do. Again, I'm not saying that's wrong. If it works for you, then awesome. All right. Kyle, do markets generally sell off on Friday? I have no idea. I do not know what they generally do. I can't say that I track any of that data. And even when you say not always just a majority, like how do you define majority? Is majority 51 or is a majority 50.1% of the time? Because technically speaking, that is the majority. So like even that, I don't know. But yeah, as for Henster, are you still here? Henster? Yeah, so the main reason is right here. This is what we call Pam's plant, but this kind of summarizes why if you're in the day trading category, it just makes the most sense. It's the most efficient thing to do, mathematically provable. So yeah, for the most people, I would say this right here, because pattern day trend rule, massive hassle unless you have $25,000. But there is none. So that right off the get-go is a great reason to trade futures because there's no pattern day trend rule. They move fantastic. I mean, they're open around the clock, so you can always find a time. If you have any experience with options, then you get to say goodbye to theta and strike prices because both of those things do. Yes, they're futures contracts, so they're like options in the sense they're both contracts that you're buying and selling. But futures contracts don't have theta, don't have strike prices. You don't have to scan for the hottest stock or the new meme coin or anything like that because you just choose one or two contracts and then you just trade them every single day because every single day the same things give you multiple opportunities. Then with the prop firm, a bunch of good reasons. You don't need a bunch of money. They help you really control risk. You can really grow your money with copy trading, and then tax reporting is very easy because at the end of the year they'll just send you a 1099 form. So you will send your accountant, literally one piece of paper. So it's very straightforward in that regard. Are you not competing with more algorithmic trading bots trading futures as opposed to small cap? Okay, that's irrelevant, Jeremy. Good question, but a question of algorithmic trading and bots and all this sort of stuff. But let me show you why the whole algorithmic algos, AI, all that stuff is completely irrelevant. So I'll ask Jeremy this, but same question to everybody else. So let's just assume that there is an AI, there's an algorithm, there's something in the market, okay? So whatever we want to call it, but there is something in the market. And let's even go further. Let's say this thing is actually manipulating the market. So, but we're using a chart, and then, so this is what we notice. And that level is right there at 100, okay? So we're watching our chart, and there is, like I said, a magical, mystical algorithm, AI, whatever you want to call it, but there is one of those things out there. And then this is what we're noticing. Okay, now I would contend to you, so if I were to say, okay, what do we think, what does it seem like? What does it seem like this algorithm has been programmed to do? Jeremy, but same question everybody else. What does this algorithm seem like it's been programmed to do? What would you say? So you're one step ahead of what the next question was going to be, Jeremy. So good job. But we'll see if anybody else. So again, what does it seem like this algorithm, seem like this AI, seem like the market maker, seem like whatever you want to put in there is doing? What would you say? What does it seem like this algorithm, AI, has been programmed to do? If it's market makers, has been told to do? What would you say? I think you're looking at something else. Letter D. Again, don't look at the chart. Look at like my graphic that I drew the letter D. You're looking at the wrong things. Yeah, VIP Global. Yeah, exactly. It seems as though this program, this group, whatever you want to call it, they have been. This thing is to buy at 100. Don't let it drop below 100. Anything like that. So with that being said, as a trader, let's put our minds together. As traders, is there something, given that we've recognized this, is there something that maybe we could do to help to make some money off this algorithm, to make some money off this AI, to make some money off this magical, mystical group of market makers? Is there anything that you think we could do to kind of just make some money off of what they're doing? Now, Jeremy, you were one step ahead, but like I said, does anybody have any ideas of how we could potentially make money off of what we have observed that this algorithm, this AI, this group of market makers is doing? Anybody have any ideas? I like this group. We got some thinkers here. We have some deep thinkers here on a Saturday morning. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if it were me, and it sounds like if for a lot of you, I don't know if we're geniuses or what, but you know what? Maybe, just maybe a valid, again, I'm not going to use the word guaranteed idea because at any point, maybe they flip off the algorithm. But maybe, just maybe, like you buy like right here, at like, I don't know, 125. Because it seems like it'll go down to 100 and then bounce. So that is just my long answer of saying, I don't care. The whole idea of competing against, that's what's powerful about a chart, is you can't hide from a chart. If algorithms, if whatever are doing something, it's going to show up in the chart, because what would an algorithm be manipulating? If you just want to say, well, it's algorithms, you have to worry about algorithms manipulating the market. Okay, you've made a claim that there is manipulation of the market happening. But what's actually being manipulated? When you say it's manipulating the market, what do you mean by the market? Well, you mean the price of the market. And what does a chart show us? It shows us what the price is doing. So yes, even if we just concede that there's manipulation going on here in the market, well, what you actually mean is there's price manipulation. And what does a chart tell us? Well, what's going on with the price? So right here, it seems like the manipulation is don't let it go below 100 or buy at 100. And then by using a chart, well, we can take advantage of this manipulation. So does that make sense, Jeremy, on how it's kind of again, a good question, and it comes up here relatively often with algorithm and AI, but do you see how if you're using a chart, all that sort of stuff can't hide from a chart? It is what it is. It's like, it's just going to be there. Good. All right, perfect. So again, good question, but one of those things where I think that stuff gets way blown out of proportion. And I don't know if you're trading small cap momentum stocks, but that stuff is it's ridiculously inefficient compared to Pam's plant. So again, I'm not saying you're doing that, but I'm telling you right now, first off, this right here makes those small cap momentum stocks look like paint drying. If you like momentum, futures will give you momentum for sure. But the other thing with those small cap momentum stocks is, I mean, you're using your own money for that sort of stuff. So if you get stuck in a rug pull, or you FOMO, or you just get stuck in a halt, I mean, in the category of small cap momentum stocks, it's sort of the Wild West. Yes, to be fair, you can get great movements, but again, you can get even better movements in futures. But that's a two-sided coin, because in those small caps, you can get rug pulled, you can get dumped all over, you can get stuck in halts. But the problem is that's all of your money that's at risk because you're having to use your money to put it up. But with the prop firm, because to be fair, yes, futures, you can, I wouldn't call it a rug pull per se, but yeah, futures have sell-offs, futures will dump, futures will flush, stuff like that. But the difference here is that you have that added risk control because you're protecting your own money. How are you protecting your own money? Well, you have very little money on the line because with the prop firm, the only money that you actually have at risk is the amount that you spent to buy the purchasing power. So this is all the different purchasing powers you can buy. So let's say for the 50K purchasing power, your money at risk would just be 119. So if you get stuck in a dump in the futures market and boom, you lose 2,000. Well, yeah, 2,000 here means you violated the drawdown, which means you failed. They are going to take the account away from you. But did you actually lose 2,000 out of your pocket? You didn't. You only lost the 119. Now, for you business savvy folks, really quickly, let me explain. You're saying that sounds like a scam, Clay. There's no way that's a viable business model. How can this company, how can this prop firm stay in business if they only require 119 from you, but they're going to let you lose $2,000 of their own money? Very good question, because this part of the journey is just happening within a simulated environment. Once you prove yourself, then you start to move into what's called a pro account. But yes, there's not actually $2,000 being lost. Same is true here. I've had some people get upset because they're like, wait a second. So I passed the test by making 3,000, but then they keep my 3,000 and all I get is the pro account. That's all I get. All they tell me is, hey, good job. Now you get to move from the test into the pro. That's all I get is that movement right there. Well, no, because again, that's all a simulator environment. So there wasn't actually $3,000 being made either. But so that is, that's just one of the, that's one of the things. I'm really struggling with small, of course, yes. Because that's basically, I know there's some people out there, I know there's like a select few that make small caps seem like, and I understand the allure because when you're not fully informed and you don't know about Pam's plant, you show up thinking, I don't have a lot of money, but I want to grow this money. But small caps move, they have momentum, they have short squeezes, they have low floats. So I need to do this. And that's what I'm telling you right now. No, there is a better way. There is a better way. You could quite literally become a day trader being defined as buy, sell as much as you want for $105. Because with $105, you get 25K in purchasing power. Can you explain the prop firm minimum account balance? If I have 60,000 in a 50K account and I take a 3,000 loss, no. No, because you would be well above your buffer. So no, because you would not. Because after you go up above the 3, so in that situation, you the short answer is no. You would be totally fine there, Justin. Because if you have 50,000, you're at 60. So you have you're $10,000 above where you started. So a $3,000 loss is fine at that point in time because in prop firm jargon, you've built up buffer. Prop firms very little invested and have the opportunity to make a lot of payouts when following the rules. Yeah, so right there's Kenny, someone that's doing Pam's plant. So he says very little invested, which is true. I would say very little risked, but Kenny is not wrong at all. I'm nitpicking at one of his words because my argument would be he says very little invested. I would say you have very little risked, and that's what I mean by protect your own money because your only risk again with the prop firm is just simply the cost of the account itself. Because worst case, you fail the test. Because first, again, you have to prove yourself. But even if you get into the pro accounts, and the pro accounts are where when you start to make money, you get to keep the money. But there are always the rules. But the fact of the matter is, in this situation, if you get stuck in a crazy move or you lose your mind, you have one of those bad days. If you're having a bad day with your own funds, that bad day could be $1,500 or worse out of your pocket. But with the prop firm world, the bad day just means, yeah, they took the account away from you, which you can't always get again for $100. But yeah, you had a bad day, but the bad day, whereas your funds cost you $1,500 if not more, the bad day in the prop firm world only cost you the 105 because that's all you had invested. That's all you had at risk from the get-go. So yeah, what Kenny says is exactly it. So good questions. But yes, please, by all means, stay away from small cap, low float, momentum stocks. I get the allure. I really do. I've traded them before. But as somebody that's traded them before, it's such a risky game. And don't take my word for it. Ask any trader that you trust. Trading is not about how much money you can make. It's not about making money. Blind drunk monkeys can make money. The skill of trading is, can you hold on to those gains? Do you know how to manage risk? And in the small cap stuff, all it takes is one bad decision, one rule break, and it can spin out of control in a hurry. And anybody that's traded those low floats know exactly what I mean. So that's just something to definitely keep in mind. I think the only I don't even know this, but maybe the only more inefficient thing you could do is just day trading options. Yeah, if you're going to go on full tilt, please just go on full tilt in a prop firm. That way, after you roast it, it's only cost you, a couple $100 at very most. But if you go on full tilt with your funds, man, where do I get the coffee? Well, if you're a cheapskate like me, right down in your own kitchen. If you're high society, then you're probably headed to Starbucks right now, Frank. All right. So we'll end. Again, this is viewer driven. So if you have a request for a stock, for a futures chart, for a forex pairing, for any sort of chart, let me know. If you have questions about prop firms or trading or life or whatever, also let me know. But somebody asked about Netflix, and will it hit 8:30 next week? 8:30. Oh, down? I don't know. Did they just have like bad news or something? 8:30 would be quite the fall. I mean, for Netflix to go down to $830, you're talking about like down there. So I don't know. Maybe you're perhaps this is just guessing, but if I had to try to read your mind, maybe you're looking at this, seeing it's a former support. So you're thinking if it goes down there, it will bounce again, which I understand the logic. Hey, that makes actually very good sense to me. But I mean, that's a pretty big fall, unless Netflix. Well, let's just check the extended hours. Excuse me. Oh, we got to go to Intraday. No, they didn't have a crazy after hours. So I mean, I have no idea, but if I were forced to guess, no, I don't think that Netflix is going to go down to $830. Just from a technical standpoint, that would imply that it's broken down through the 50-day simple moving average. It's broken down through the 200-day simple moving average. So no, I don't think I would see that happening. Are futures the same hours as the stock market? No, even better. Futures are basically open around the clock. Now, I say basically because they are technically closed right now because they close Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern, and then they'll open back up on Sunday at 6 p.m. And then from that point forward, they're closed 1 hour per day. And they close every day at 5 p.m. Eastern. So on Monday, they'll close at Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern, and then they'll open back up Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern. So they're literally closed 1 hour per day. But other than that, they're open essentially around the clock, 23 hours a day. And then, yes, they are technically closed on Saturday. They closed last night, Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern. And again, they'll open back up Sunday at 6 p.m. So one of those things where if you're kind of busy, there's still always an opportunity to go find something out there and to trade. What is the cost of a reset for 100K? Very good question, VIP Global, because that brings up an interesting talking point. $100. The talking point being, because you really do need to enter in under the assumption, I'm going to blow an account. There's no shame in that. Everybody blows accounts. That's just part of being a prop firm trader. You're going to blow accounts. But you got to remember, when you blow accounts, it's very minimal because your risk is very minimal because, if you blow the 25K account, well, in all actuality, you only lost $105. But the thing here is if you go in with the assumption, okay, I'm going to blow at least my first account, then across the board, it's $100 to reset. Reset just means to get the account back to try again. So if it's $100, then it really becomes a question of, well, what do you want that $100 to get you? Do you want that $100 to get you a 25K in purchasing power? Or Or do you want that $100 to get you $150K in purchasing power? Now, I'm not saying this is the right way to think through it, but somebody did suggest that to me, and I thought, oh, that's a good point. That's an interesting way to look at it. So that is just something that you need to consider. But yes, VIP, I think maybe you were already kind of thinking that anyways. But yes, it would be 100 to reset. So it's just kind of a question of what kind of bang for your buck. I mean, in my mind, and again, I'm not saying this is the way to go about it, but if looking at it through this lens, I mean, you might as well start with 150K. Because if you're, again, assuming that you're going to blow up the account and need to get it back again, and if the quote-unquote get-back fee is 100, I'd rather have that $100 fee get me the 150K in purchasing power as opposed to 25K. Again, I'm not saying that is the right way to choose your purchasing power, but that is just one thought process that I've had. Is there a maximum amount of profit you can make per account? No. Nope. Now, during the test phase, when they're seeing if you know how to trade, there's something called the 50% rule. All that means is that you cannot make more than 50% of your profit target in the same day. So if you get the 50K account, in order to prove yourself, so to move from the test into the pro phase, you got to show that you can make 3,000, can't lose 2,000. But with that, the 50% rule says you cannot make more than 50% of that in a single day. So the most you can make in a day during the test phase is just $1,500 because they don't want you to just YOLO, right? Unless they do that rule, then you could technically go out there, YOLO, go all in, get lucky. There you go. I passed the test. And it's like, well, yeah, but did you actually prove anything? Did you prove that you can trade, or did you prove that you just got you got lucky on a YOLO? So that would be the only rule. But once you get into the pro accounts, there is no 50% rule. There is no max that you can make per day or anything like that. Are also listening to simulated. How does that compare with the? It's the same because the simulator is just it's mimicking the live environment. Now the only difference would be if in the live environment you're going to go and try to buy like 400 contracts at once. But then again, no, I think I take that back because even with this the simulator environments, you can still get partial fills and stuff like that. A YOLO is definitely yucky. So yeah, there's differences, but. For the size of trades that I would assume, like, you know, us mere mortals are taking, I don't think it would be that much. Hey, VO Noob, good to see you back. And you know what, VO Noob, I can't remember. You gave me a super chat a couple days ago, and I don't remember if I thanked you for that. I remember seeing it and thinking, oh, that was really nice. But sometimes I'm trying to hold so many conversations and think through so many things at once that I just forget my manners. So, VO Noob, if I did not thank you a couple days ago for that super chat, I want to thank you right now. Thank you for doing that. I know I'm just dropping in giving a tip because I know you can. Okay, world free speech. Please don't come and pump something like you've done in the past, please. If your tip is some micro cap piece of garbage, please, sir. That's not a tip. That's a pump. That's a pump. You can call it a tip, but it's actually a pump. You're pumping. Please don't pump. Yes, you can copy trade across all account types. Don't do it. Do not do it, world free speech. Fancy word game you're playing. You want to give us a tip. Better not be a pump. Better not be some penny stock piece of garbage. You had okay, good. I'm glad I thanked you at that time, VO Noob. Have you hopped into Pam's plant yet, VO Noob? All right, let's go back and see what other sorts of requests. Again, if you are here and you have a request for a stock, an option, futures chart, forex pairing, let me know in the chat box and I'll get to it. Henster, the two prop firms that I recommend are here. If you're a beginner, definitely Take Profit Trader. I mean, any level, you should definitely be using Take Profit Trader because I think they're the best in the business, especially when it comes to their payment policy, meaning you can request money once you get to the pro accounts, you can request money every single day if you want in any amount. But other firms like Apex, they're not scams because of this, but if you make money, then you can't request money right away. You have to wait certain amounts of time, but even after those certain amounts of time, you still can't request all the money you've made. Eventually, you'll get paid, but it's a little bit more rigid. Whereas Take Profit Trader, like I said, once you start to make money, you can request that money as often as you want, which seems common sense. Like, well, no kidding. That's how it should be. Yes, but in the prop firm world, they don't all operate that way. But my goal here with the live stream is to get people smoothly into Pam's plant day trading futures through the prop firm. And I think Take Profit Trader does that the best. But if you are a beginner and you hop right into Apex, you're going to be so confused by all the rules and all this sort of stuff going on. But Take Profit Trader is just the much better way. So yes, if you are an Apex trader already because you're in the intermediate or advanced prop firm trader category and you enjoy the live stream, you enjoy the channel, and you want to support it somehow, and you want to get the current discounts and deals, then Code Clay is a way for you to be able to do that. So, and I thank you in advance. So those are the two that I am putting my name next to because, again, I have a lot of members that have used both of them for a long time. They've been paid by them. I've been paid by Take Profit Trader. So, yes, I know they pay. Oh, did he already did he already give us what it was? Oh, he already talked about TNXP. I missed that original message. So he is pumping. Dude, stop. Stop. We already talked about this one. I don't think I've ever seen a chart like this. Look at this chart. This is gonna blow your mind. Wait, Clay, do I see over here at one time there was share price traded for, I don't even know my numbers. Is that billion or million? That's billion. Am I seeing my numbers right? That at one point this thing traded for $13.4 billion per share? Yeah, that's what it says. How is that even possible? Well, because when a company does reverse split after reverse split after reverse split after reverse split, this is what can happen to a chart. So no, the price was never actually at $13.4 billion per share. But this piece of garbage just slaughters their shareholder base over and over again. So with all due respect, world free speech, I hope you understand that you will be slaughtered. You will be slaughtered. I'm not saying the company's going bankrupt, but clearly this chart is telling us that the only reason the company has not gone bankrupt is because they slaughter their common shareholders over and over again. That's what a reverse split is. It's a way for the company to not go bankrupt, but for the common shareholder to basically go bankrupt as their shares go to zero. So yeah, you still may own a share, but maybe you started off at 1,000 shares, but after enough reverse splits, which again, the track record is here, they reverse split, you'll literally be down to owning like 0.075 of a share. So it's very possible. A lot of people do not realize, but it is possible as an investor for a company to never go bankrupt, but for you as the investor to lose all your money because of this thing known as reverse splits. With TNXP, I'd never seen this until the World Free Speech brought it to our attention a couple weeks ago. This company has done so many reverse splits that it appears that at one point their shares were trading for $13.4 billion per share. That is insane. That is crazy. You're giving me a once in a lifetime opportunity to go into, that is a pump. Like, you're World Free Speech, you're trolling, right? Are you seriously going to call something a once in a lifetime opportunity that has a track record of reverse splitting like this? Like, is that what you're really telling us here? Like, I just went through that. Like, again, this is not me theorizing. This is not me just casting unfounded claims. Like, the proof is right here. This company has an amazing track record of slaughtering their shareholder base. And you're calling this sort of track record a once in a lifetime opportunity. Like, at some point it just becomes insulting. Like, do you think we're like that stupid? Do you think I'm that stupid? Do you think that the people that I'm attracting in the chat are that stupid? Like, what, after going through all that, how can you call it a once in a lifetime opportunity? Like, what is going on here? Sure, it's making gains right now. It's done this before. Remember, look at that big move. And then back down it goes. Yeah, that's wild. That's wild, man. Can you blow out your account once you're trading in the pro account? Yeah. The same rules apply. In the pro account, they still want you managing risk. Same rules apply. Yep. Clay, did you already give thoughts on NQ next week? I have not. I can do that. I'm here feeding. Are there a bunch of ads? I have a concern. So, Frank, how many ads are you watching? And how often are the ads coming? There is a 5 account maximum for TBT. If you've blown pro accounts, do they count towards the 5 accounts? Yeah, I mean, accounts can still be visible in your dashboard, but they'll just show up as like inactive. But yeah, so if you have 5 pro accounts and then you blow them, you can get more pro accounts to do it again. I'm not sure I quite answer. Oh, I see. No. Blown accounts no longer count towards the 5 accounts. If you have 5 accounts and then you blow some of them, you can get those back. Oh, okay, VO Noob was already. Are you going to try Pam's plant then, VO Noob? Okay. You made it sound like you're watching the ads every 2 seconds. Dude, okay, world free speech. I'm just telling you right now that to the outside looker in, when you show up and you give us a stock that has a massive track record of slaughtering their shareholders via reverse splits, and then you say, and I quote, no, I'm not pumping, Clay. I'm giving you a once in a lifetime opportunity. If you can't see how that comes across as kind of a sleazy pump, I'm not sure what we can do for you. Like, if you don't have the ability to, put yourself in somebody else's shoes and see that, I'm not sure what we can do for you. Now, I would be much more lenient if this stock had like an impeccable record and it had no reverse splits and nothing like that. But that's just not the case here. TNXP is pure and utter garbage. Again, you the shareholder, they don't care about you, the common shareholder. Well, what's your proof of that? I already showed that. All these reverse splits. A reverse split is a way for the company to stay in business at the expense of the common shareholder. So you as a common shareholder, you're losing all your money while the company gets to get more money and stay in business. That's what I'm trying to tell you, to look at it the Okay, yeah, okay. I will try my best to look at it the proper way. Thank you for the thoughts. It's Pam's plant, Jeremy. Pam's plant is the argument for why, in the category of day trading futures through a prop firm is the most efficient way to go about it. And these are just all the reasons. So that's what Pam's plan is. That's what we call it around here. It's just a day trading argument, like I said, of how to be most efficient if you want to be a day trader. Could you try this chart with Tesla? No. And the reason for that is I already did Tesla. I sent somebody else this link, but every day, at the end of the day, I do top 10 stocks, and Tesla is part of this list. So A, B, I'll just link you to this, and like I said, Tesla is the last stock I follow, or I cover on that list right there. What? What do you mean possibly? How explain the math of how it doesn't make sense to at least try, VO Noob. I'd be very curious. Let's say you shorted the top at 13 billion. Does it mean that one share at the top shorted would return that? Well, Zach, the price was never at 13 billion. That's just what a reverse split does, because the chart's got to adjust for the manipulation of the share prices. But no, the chart was never at. But yes, technically speaking, if you short at the top, because the most you can make on a short is 100%. That's it. You can't make any more than 100% shorting something. So yes, if you short at $100 and then it goes down to zero, then you've made $100. The best you can do on a short is based technically like 99.9%. You cannot make more than 100% on a short. World of Free Speech, you said your 2 cents. I said my 2 cents. We'll just have to let the chat decide. I state you are pumping an absolute piece of garbage that has a track record of slaughtering the common shareholder. You say it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. So we both said our piece. So we'll leave it up to the chat to kind of figure out what they think. Hey, all, by the way, been quietly following those live streams. Thanks, Zach. Appreciate you following. Somebody asked about NQ. So, yeah, let's take a look at NQ here. I'll get rid of that right now. So, NQ, kind of talked about this already when I started off the live stream. Decided it's a pump. But yeah, and sort of talked about this with SPY at the start of the live stream, but I know not everybody is there at that exact moment in time. But we've had some good conversation. We've talked about algorithms and why that you shouldn't be worried about those. We've talked about Pam's plant. We've talked about reverse splits and how companies can just slaughter their shareholders without ever going bankrupt. We've talked some normal chart. So this has been a good Saturday morning coffee. This is what I like, a good variety of discussion points, all while getting attacked while under bot attack. North Chappie, I've been super disciplined with rules for 3 years straight and only lost a trade twice in that time. Didn't follow my rules for risk management and lost the most I ever lost yesterday. Lesson learned. Sorry to hear that, North Chappie. Yeah, that's kind of what I try to tell people here. Is it unfortunately it just trading is a cruel place. It only takes one, and it can add up quickly. Apparently, Fairchild. Apparently. But thank you, N Chappie. Thank you for sharing that. And that's what I try to tell people here. And I'm not saying this is you, N Chappie, but some people show up and they say, amazing how the world is connected. You responded immediately watching you from these live streams. That's why it's mind blowing to me, because I could be sitting here and I've already had this. In fact, yesterday we discovered a country I'd never heard of. Somebody was from this country. I don't even remember the name of it. And something. Yeah, Andorra. Who's heard of Andorra? Yesterday somebody was like, "Hey, I'm in the country of Andorra." I thought, that's a country? And apparently, kinda, maybe. Andorra is a tiny, independently principality situated between France and Spain in the Pyrenees Mountains. It is known for, I don't know, this person called it, he said it was a country. I don't know if it is technically, but to your point, yeah, it's amazing how you can be here and, you know, how somebody from Andorra can show up across the seas, and then you can talk to them. But yeah, so I don't know, Coach Set. Everybody that's had that, they've been resolved. So I'm not sure. I don't know what's going on there, but I know they had an issue, but that issue has been fixed. So yeah, I'm not quite sure. I didn't understand the prop accounts and figured they were shady, hence why I went with Shadation, but plus for algo creation, but for or whatever, I thank you. Yeah, no, like I said, even if we just assume it's a scam, I mean, worst case scenario, let's just assume the worst, it's a scam, I'm in on the scam. You will be scammed out of exactly $105 if you do, you know, the 25K purchasing power. So if you look at the $105, you're like, no, that would wreck my life, then yeah, probably trading's not for you right now. You got some other things in your personal finances to take care of. Now, it's not a scam. And the nice thing about social media, there's a lot of pitfalls, but one good thing is if any of these prop firms start to not pay people, start to get scammy, social media within the prop firm world will light up like a Christmas tree and people will know. Yeah. But like I said, even if we just set all that aside and assume it's a scam, I'm part of the scam, okay, you will be scammed out of exactly $105. But I do understand. That's what cut me away, VONoob, for like 2 years, was it did sound shady. And some of them are shady, don't get me wrong. That's why I'm not sitting here, you know, promoting 17 different prop firms. I'm talking about exactly 2, because I know these ones pay and they have a track record and all that. But yeah, I'm with you. I hear you. I held off on him for quite a while, which I think I was right to do. Just be a little skeptical. Well, I'm reading the messages here, and unfortunately, world free speech, it doesn't look like you're necessarily convincing many people. But N Chappie. So what I always tell people, because just to reiterate, in fact, let me just do this because I know some people watch this in the archive, so let me bring a little context here. Again, I'm not trying to rub any salt into wounds, but this is kind of, why it's just something to consider, because this is the proof right here of what I say, and I understand it's, well, you're just saying this, and that's all kind of in theory, which is, to be fair, yeah, it is in theory, but it also happens in the real world, and you see it right here. I've been super disciplined with rules for 3 years straight and only lost a trade twice in that time, which is kind of nuts, but okay. Didn't follow my rules for risk management and lost the most I ever lost yesterday. Lesson learned. So one of those situations where, you can give back way more gains than you actually need to. What do I mean by that? Well, I don't know if this person was in a prop firm, but let's just say that they were in this prop firm. They got the 50K. And we've had this before where, you spend the 119, you pass, you go to the pro account, and let's just say you make, and I'm just totally making these numbers up, but let's say you make $10,000. And when I say make $10,000, that means that's money that's sent into your checking account. So it's officially yours. It's in your checking account. That is your $10,000. And you've been behaving well. And a lot of people say, well, yeah, I'm just going to use my own money because I'm going to behave well. I don't need any rules imposed upon me. I'm going to behave well because if you manage risk, then everything will be okay. And all that stuff is true. But what you're doing is those people are assuming in a very key, they're making a very key, very unrealistic assumption. And that is that you're always going to be a flawless human being and you're never going to make mistakes. You're never going to break rules. You're never going to become undisciplined. But that's not realistic because we all have those bad days. And like N Chappie, again, shout out for being transparent, was like, yeah, I finally broke some rules within my risk management. And they took a big loss. I don't have to say a big loss, but let's just say that one person is using their own money and then they made $10,000. So they had the $10,000, they're using their own money, fantastic. Then we have the prop firm person that's made the $10,000. The prop firm person, has moved it to their account, but then let's say you have the bad day. And the bad day in the prop firm means that, well, you lost your account because you went down and it hit the $2,000, which is the rule violation. So that means you lost your account. Does that mean you lost all $10,000? No, it doesn't, because your bad day just means you lost the account, which means you lost 119. But because you've already paid yourself the $10,000, you didn't give any of that back. But if you're using your own money, then sure, you could lose $2,000. But the thing here is that with the prop firm, it just stops at $2,000. The software's like, you violated the rule, and they'll just close the trade down. But if you're using your own money, that $2,000, in theory, could grow to $10,000. So that one bad mistake could have wiped away all your gains, because there's nothing in your account system that's like, okay, stop going down to 2,000. It could keep going. Maybe it stops at more, minus 4,000, but then you go on tilt and you do more things. I mean, we've had a bunch of, I'll speak for myself. I've had days where I do something and it's just kind of a modest loss, but then I go on tilt, I get upset, I lose my mind, and then it's like, whoa, I made a way bigger mess than what I was originally looking at. Maybe I'm alone in that. But anyways, my point here is that with the prop firm, yes, it stops at minus 2,000, but you don't lose 2,000, you lose the 119, but you still get to keep all that. But if that's your money, in theory, this all 10,000 could go down to zero. So the prop firm's like, man, yeah, I lost my account, but I only lost 119, but I still made that 10,000. The real money trader could have been like, man, I just gave back the entire 10,000. So that's just, that's one big differentiator, and why this part is a very, very important thing, because you have that added risk control because you are protecting your money. How are you protecting your own money? Because it's not your money that's in the account. You're paying yourself, you're pulling that money out. And then if you do eventually break the rules and lose more than you're supposed to, or in prop firm lingo, you blow the account. Again, you haven't given back all those gains that you've paid yourself. No, you've only given up the account. Therefore, you've only given up how much you paid for the account. So a very important distinction there. So thank you again, Norchappie. Yes, sir, I can't let this wreck me. You can't become emotional. I lost 2/3 of what I made this year. What are you doing prop firm stuff, and Chappie? What are you trading? Well, you don't even, hopefully you consider it a prop firm based on what I just explained. Hopefully you see how had you been in a prop firm, you would not have been able to give back 2/3 of what you made, because it would have capped you way before then, and you would have lost your account, sure, but you would not have given back 2/3 of what you made. Which, man, sorry to hear that. Did you use sometimes Chat GPT? I'm not sure what you mean by that. I'm going backwards. Zach, real question is, once profitable, take profit and pay oneself or multiply accounts. Add cushion. Yeah, no, Zach, that is the big discussion. How much do you leave in for your buffer? How much do you pay yourself? I'm more in the camp of just pay yourself, but that doesn't mean that it's right. I had a system go down. Yeah. So that's just one of those things where even within the prop firm, it's like, it's just that nice insulated risk. It insulates your risk against yourself. It insulates your risk against the Trump tweet. It insulates your risk versus a system going down. So, hey, Nathan, is that the Nathan that used to be the Nathan I think you are? Or are you a different Nathan? If you are like, what's this guy talking about? Then you're not that Nathan. So you change your name back. Good. Thank you. I love it. Nathan is back being Nathan. 80% of the traders in prop firms pay the other 20% that make it payouts. That's how tough it is. Well, you're not wrong, Kenny, but I do push back a little bit on that, because some people are like, well, they blame prop firms to not make money. And it's like, well, yeah, prop firms make trading hard. No. Trading is hard, not because of prop firms. Trading is hard because trading itself is hard. So your lack of success has nothing to do with the prop firm. Your lack of success is trading is just hard. In fact, the prop firm is going to give you more leeway because you can get more trades out of whatever money you have. Because in the real world, if you're using $1,000, $1,000 could be poof, gone in just a few trades. But at least with a prop firm, you can buy yourself quite a bit. You can purchase quite a few accounts with $1,000. So let me be very clear. I'm not saying therefore prop firms guarantee success. I'm just saying prop firms are more efficient in the sense of they give you more opportunity to learn. And the more opportunity that somebody has to learn, in my opinion, the higher the odds are that they can figure it out. Again, not guaranteed to figure it out, but just have higher odds to figure it out because they have more opportunity to figure out. All right, yeah, Kenny. Like I said, nothing you said was wrong in the first place, but sometimes people, they kind of like, they push stuff on prop firms like it's the prop firm's fault. It's like, well, no, it's what you're complaining about has nothing to do with the prop firm. It just has to do with trading. Exactly. Yeah, what coach just said. Yes. Trading is hard, period. Hardest way to make easy money. If you were blowing prop firm accounts, you wouldn't have been profitable in a regular account anyway. Yeah, exactly. If you can't pass prop firm, you will most likely lose. I appreciate your intellectual humility to say you will most likely lose money way faster. I don't see how there's a most likely, but to be fair, I guess I can't say that you're guaranteed to, but you are highly likely to lose money faster on a personal account just because, again, I was talking about a buddy about this. It's amazing how in futures, because of this, because futures move, like how just quickly, and anybody that's traded futures, you know exactly what I mean by this. So that's why I say, like, the people are like, well, I trade small caps because I want movement, I want momentum, I want all this sort of stuff. Yeah, that's why I'm saying futures will make that stuff look like paint dry. But it's amazing how in futures, like a $500 loss could show up just like that. Like not even trying that hard, and boom, Can I get some? So in the chat box, anybody here that trades futures, when I say like $100 or $500 loss can show up relatively kind of easily, quickly, give me a one. Do you agree? Do you get what I'm saying to you future traders out there? Because I don't want people to think like when I say like for a $500 loss, it just kind of like a pair, it's not like it's not shocking. It's not like hard to do. Okay. Okay, thank you. Because I want people in the archive to realize I'm not just saying stuff. Like, these are all people that have traded futures, and there's more coming in. But right there. So if you think about that, like $500 of your money, just poof, gone, if it's your real money. But then look at that compared to the prop firm world, where that $500, you could have come over here and bought 4 of these accounts, $25K. And again, the nice thing about the account is you go through the journey. If you can pass the test, move to the pro, you start making money, then you can actually the sky's the limit. But the thing is, it's like, if you're using your own money, like the speed at which you could lose 4 accounts in the prop firm world is like that. So, I mean, if you look at things and like, okay, how many accounts could I have purchased with what I just lost? And again, $500, as I just showed, is not a big deal. But like, that's 4 accounts that you could have participated in, learned, fine-tuned your strategy, perhaps found your groove and starting to get payouts. You could have had 4 opportunities at that, but those 4 opportunities are gone in the blink of an eye with your own money because poof, $500 can, like I said, it can disappear in a hurry. So, I mean, that's just one of those things where it's like, again, a prop firm still doesn't guarantee anything, but it's just about the opportunity it gives you to figure things out, to fine-tune your strategy, to learn your psychology. Okay, World Free Speech, I do want to respect your time. I think you're on the wrong live stream because you seem to think that like people here are into investing or swing trading, very, very risky things. That's not the demographic. No, I don't know. Maybe there's like 3 or 4 people, but your time would probably be better spent on a live stream that's like geared towards investing. We are geared towards day trading on this live stream, specifically day trading futures through a prop firm. So I as somebody myself that wants to make sure I'm not wasting my time, I would submit to you that you're probably wasting your time unless you think your time is spent trying to convince maybe 3 people to do what you're suggesting. So just kind of an FYI there. Yeah, a prop firm is sim, but you still have skin in the game, and that skin in the game is still going to prompt those emotions, which is what you need to learn. I'm not saying there's zero value in flat-out demo trading where you have no money on the line. Yeah, there's value in that. But, and again, you kind of just got to experience it yourself. If you don't want to trust me, which is fine, I get it. I could be some beautiful-looking stranger on the internet. But when you don't have any skin in the game at all, it's just different. Your mind, you're more relaxed. But once you get even a little bit of skin, even just $105 of skin in the game, because again, if you did the $25K, that's your ultimate risk, is $105, because if you blow the account and they take it away from you, all right, you're out $105. But even just $105 in the game, now you start to feel stuff differently. So again, I want to reiterate, I am not saying demo trading, pure paper trading is an absolute total waste of time. That's not my claim. I'm just saying at some point, you got to get skin in the game to really start to deal with, to manage, to develop a relationship with all those voices in your head. And I would like to think that a lot of people probably agree with me that have traded. Jeremy, is there a scanner for futures? No, Jeremy, great question. This is one of the great things about Pam's Plant and Futures. Stop scanning, Jeremy. Save yourself some time. I don't know if you pay for scanners, Jeremy, but save yourself some money. The great thing about futures is you will pick one, and then that same one will give you multiple opportunities every single day. And if I were you, I would start off with this one right here, MNQ. Once you start to get familiar, once you start to prove that you can manage this one okay, then hop up and trade NQ. They're essentially the same chart. The MNQ is just a little less volatile in the sense of how fast the P&L adds up. But the NQ is a volatile monster. Some people, they're just like, no, I'm here for the volatility. Thank you, Clay, for your suggestion of MNQ, but I'm going to NQ. And then usually those people come back and say, all right, Clay, yeah, NQ moves. Those profit, that P&L, that fluctuates in a hurry. So that's what I'd start with. But that's all you need. MNQ or NQ. Some people like ES or MES. I'm not, whatever. That's fine too. But for simplicity's sake, I would say, start with MNQ. And then you trade that every single day. Because every single day, that thing will give you multiple opportunities. For day trading, I'm holding it till August. Well, that's a self-contradictory statement. For day trading, I'm holding till August. That's not what day trading is, my friend. That's the equivalent of you saying I'm a married bachelor. Trading forever. Come on. Don't troll the guy. Don't troll the guy. Did you stop trading stocks altogether? Oh, yeah. Day trading stocks and day trading options is just... I don't say this to be mean because, again, I'm saying this about myself, but it's garbage. Day trading stocks and options compared to futures is just garbage. Futures move so much better. So much better. Not to mention the whole options thing where you have a 67% chance to lose money in the world of options day trading. Who the fuck is Joe Schmo? 630 subscribers, and he doesn't put up numbers up with that crayon of a chart. I don't know what you mean by a crayon of a chart, but don't diss on my crayons, man. I like crayons. Sometimes I eat them. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Jeremy, there's ups and downs. Like if you're trading at 3 a.m. Eastern, they're probably not going to be that volatile. But yeah, there's plenty of movement. Do you do much in the way of back testing? No, never. I don't like back testing because back testing is not realistic because so a back test is like, let's say you take, I don't know, a sample size of 10,000 trades to get your back test. Those results are only applicable to you if you also plan on taking all 10,000 trades that now present themselves. Because if you take 9,000 trades, well, that's a different data set because that back testing, all that data it gave you was based on 10,000 trades. So if you start to, now if you're going to take 10,000 trades moving forward, again, that doesn't guarantee anything per se, but you are at an apples to apples. These statistics were based on 10,000 trades, and every single time, the next 10,000 times, as this criteria shows up, I'm taking that trade, then okay. You can start to project that stuff forward. But unless you're doing that, then you're creating an apples and oranges situation for yourself. Does that make sense, Fairchild? How did you make the switch between options and how? I made the switch back in November, and the how is very easy. Like I understand it's a false. I understand where it comes from, so it's not like you're stupid to think this way. But a lot of people are like, man, I like what I'm hearing. I like this Pam's plant stuff. It makes a whole lot of sense. I get it. But I don't want to have to learn how to trade futures. So here's the thing, Zach, and to anybody, is my question to anybody that's feeling that way is, what do you trade right now? So maybe you would say, well, I trade stocks, I trade options. Fine. Okay, what tool do you use to trade those things? Well, I use charts. Then you are 97% of the way to trading futures because futures is just technical trading. And in day trading, you're going to use technical charts. So you're 97% of the way there because you already understand charts. Now, the other 3% is just, okay, well, how do you calculate the profit? So let's just look at this real quick with a 5-minute. There we go. Okay. Now let's just go to the 1-minute time frame. Well, let's mix it. Okay. So like I said, World of Free Speech, you're wasting your time. This is the vast majority of people here are into day trading. Okay. So Zach, I'm with you, Clay. I just wanted to hear the... Okay, well, there might be other people here that are kind of like, okay, I like what you're saying, but like I don't have to trade futures. So again, if you already use charts, then the final 3% is this math right here. So the distance between these two numbers, if you look closely, is 60. Now 60 what? Well, in the world of futures, things are measured in points. So we're looking at the NQ, and on the NQ, the question becomes, okay, well, how much is 1 point worth? So on the NQ, 1 point equals $20. So the question becomes, okay, well, what is this space on the chart worth? So in other words, maybe if you bought right there on that line and then you sold up here, as a futures trader, you would say, oh man, I just made 60 points. So the question becomes, well, how much did you make? And this is just based off of one contract. Well, hopefully maybe you already see the math, but if we know that 1 point right here is worth $20, so 1 point is worth $20, and that was 60 points, well, we got to multiply that by 60, and that right there was $1,200 for one contract. Now, let's say you had 3 contracts. Well, if that is $1,200 per contract and you had 3, well, we got to multiply that by 3. Whoops. 1,200 multiplied by 3, and there you go. That was $3,600. And that's it. That's futures. So that's why I say if you already use charts, you're 60 or you're 97% of the way there. The other 3% is that math right there. So if you understand that math, you're good to go. You are good to go. Clay, reiterate the pros and cons of starting an account at 25K. Oh, just Tom, it's if you assume that you're going to blow up your first account and then knowing how Take Profit Trader works and your next account is going to be $100 to reset. Reset just means to get the account back to try again, and you know it's going to be $100 across the board. Do you want that $100 to get you 25K in purchasing power, or do you want that 100K to get you 150K in purchasing power? So that's just the discussion. I'm not saying that's how you have to think about it. I'm not saying that is the way to go about it. Samir, thoughts on BMGL? I will link this to you because I covered. In fact, you can see it right there. BMGL. I give my thoughts in this video, Samir, so you can go check that out, good sir. So does that make sense, Tom? Well, hey, trader, show up during the live stream, and we always enjoy when people give us. Now, the key here, trader, which it sounds like you'd be willing to do, which is great, nothing but respect, is we like when people show up, tell us what their entry point's going to be and their stop loss is going to be before the price gets to those levels. So, yeah, show up on Monday. Give us those couple numbers again before the price gets there. Because with all due respect, and I say this to everybody, showing up and telling us what you did in hindsight or what you should have done in hindsight or just making broad statements, But if you can show up and say, I'm buying here, my stop loss is here, and you say all that before the price gets to either of those locations, that's a chef's kiss right there. That's good stuff. So yeah, trader, show up on Monday and let us know your trades. Once you pass the test phase. Oh, good question, Jeremy. Yeah, so once you pass the test phase, so I know a lot of, hey, how long do I have to pass the test? You can pass the test. You can take as long as you want. But I always encourage people to get it done within a month, which is more than enough time. Because every month during the test phase, you have to pay that fee. So I say just get it done within, you don't have to rush, but get it done within a month. And that is plenty of time. Maybe you're saying, well, but Clay, I was looking at the 50K and you have to make 3,000. I've never made 3,000 in 1 month. I get it. But I'm telling you right now, because of this right here, of futures and their movement, $3,000 in a month is very realistic. Again, not guaranteed, but it's not something crazy. It's not something crazy. And, because again, futures move. And that's exactly why if you're a beginner, I would never tell you to trade futures alone because your account could be gone just like that. That's why plant is very important. Day trading futures through the prop firm, okay? So don't go do PAMs as a beginner. Do not do PAMs as a beginner. It's PAMs plant. But once you pass though, so like I said, you just get it done within a month because then once you move from test into pro, no more monthly payments over here. The monthly payment is only during the test phase. Should have bought the dip before the rip. Exactly, Superfly, yeah. The only negative thing about futures is that they're I don't know. I think I hear what you're saying, and that's funny. I think it's a good thing. It causes people to go outside every now and then, you know? Go get some vitamin D in the sunlight. Why can't you upgrade? I'm not sure, Tom, what that is in regards to. All right, somebody was asking about NQ. We need to talk about NQ. So I'll take more questions and such, but that is not a bad idea at all. Again, if you're just logging on, this is always viewer driven. The pathways that which we go are totally based on you, the viewers here. So yeah, we haven't looked at a whole. I mean, we've looked at some charts, but not a whole ton. But people are asking about other things, and and that's great. But yes, as I've said from the get-go, the ultimate goal, the ultimate reason for this live stream is not to prove anything to you about me. Like, you could think I'm a terrible trader, that's fine by me. I'm here to promote Pam's plant because I think that Pam's plant is a good idea right here. And I think promoting good ideas is a good thing. And better yet, if I can make a little money from promoting a good idea, I think that's even better. So if you do enjoy all this stuff and you want to support the live stream and the channel, use code CLAY. So, and I know that rubs some people the wrong way. I don't think you should be making any money from promoting a good idea. Okay, well, we'll just agree to disagree. What am I looking for? There we go. Do you immediately move to the pro phase when? No, the you have to go at least 5 days. The test phase is a minimum of 5, and then you can get on day number 6 you could theoretically start to request payments. Now, some prop firms are like, no, you can pass on day 1, but what they're not telling you is, okay, yeah, but you're still not eligible for payments until like 9 days later. So yeah, you could pass the test in 1 day. So they could be like, well, look at Take Profit Trader. It takes 5 days for their test. For us, it's only 1 day. Well, that's true, but with Take Profit Trader, you could theoretically start to get payments on day number 6 of your journey. Other prop firms, yeah, you can pass the test on day number 1 in theory, but you still got to wait about 2 weeks before you could ever request money anyways. So that's something that when you start to look at other prop firms, they're like, oh, 1 day pass. That's a little deceiving. Oh, I wonder if that's vegan sign guy. Are you a bot or are you actually real? I'm curious. Isn't making money from peddling good ideas? I mean, I think it's a good spot. You could probably argue that some people make money from peddling bad ideas. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool to have people come back and thank you, which I've had many people now of the live stream. Hey, thank you for telling me about Pam's plant. I was stuck trading garbage, low float, penny stocks. I was stuck dealing with theta in the world of options. I was doing this, and because I thought I needed way more money to be a day trader. I was not aware. So thanks for telling me. Yeah, futures are just way better. So yeah, to get those thank yous, first off, just feels good. It does feel good to help somebody out. But I have no problem admitting it feels even better if you get paid a little bit. If you get a little slice of the pie to help somebody out. Trader Yamel is saying good things to Jeremy. Yup. Yeah, exactly. Well said. Focus on one good trade. You're going to need an edge that is boring and repeatable. Yes. Yup. Trading is boring. When done right, it's boring. If you feel like you're hopping on a roller coaster every trade you take, something's not quite right. My guess would be your position size is too much, but that is admittedly just a guess. Duval, how dare you make money? I know. Well, some people, they don't like that. They don't like that. Here's one silly question. Does allow you to day trade other vehicles? It doesn't, Zach. But you trust me. I assure you, my friend, I'm at 100% win rate. Every single person that has day traded something else, including crypto, has come back and said, "Hey Clay, thank you. Yeah, you were right. Futures are just better. They just move better." So no, you can't. But Zach, I promise you, you're not going to be interested. You're going to be like, "Oh yeah, futures. These things move." All right. So NQ heading into the new week. Overall, good solid week. This day was a little bit sketchy here. You can keep asking questions. I'll get to them, but we should look at some charts here. But had the move here, came back down. So yes, it was technically a fake breakout. And I'd say the good news about Friday was this fake breakout didn't lead to some, much larger pullback. In fact, got a nice little hammer candle, doji, whatever you want to call it. But definitely the main areas of support headed into next. I'm not sure why that should be green, because that was an area of resistance. That area of resistance has been broken, so technically speaking, should act as a support. But yes, any sort of bigger pullbacks, 200-day simple moving average, and then this former breakout point right here at 20,575 are going to be the main levels from a support standpoint. Resistance-wise, nothing too fancy here. Right at that level, it seems the price just continually bumps its head on right around, give or take a little bit, the 21,580 mark. You can see right there several times, and then right there. When the price did break it, it did make a nice spike, but again, like I said, was technically that fake breakout. Okay. Jeremy, I think you know this. Trader Yamil, you're making good points, but stop acting like you have the holy grail. Don't act like there's one size fits all strategy. So consider, Jeremy, you can consider what Trader Yamil is saying, but Trader Yamil is also almost getting, hey, this is how I trade, therefore this is how everybody has to trade. No, because everybody's a little bit different. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, so I would say these are definitely the main levels here on the daily. Why do some traders have such big egos? Like, Trader Yamil is losing his mind because I was like, hey, there is no one-size-fits-all strategy. And then he's losing his mind. Unsubscribe. Yeah, okay, please, unsubscribe. How somebody like you was subscribed in the first place, I have no idea. Like, what? Why do traders have such egos? Like, I don't get it. Like, all I said was, hey, man, there's no one-size-fits-all strategy. Everybody's got to kind of figure out their own thing, which is 100% fact. And then he's broke it. Well, I don't know. Why are we as traders so weird? What is up with their egos? I don't get it. I don't understand. I am giving solid advice. I agree. Did you not hear me earlier saying, yeah, good point. I didn't say you didn't get solid advice. I just said you're starting to edge more towards like, hey, trade exactly like I'm doing. I just said that's where you're venturing into. But that's what I mean. Your ego is like so uptight that like you just lost your mind. Brokey, you don't know what you're doing. I didn't even say anything. Okay. All right. Well, you unsubscribed, so I wish you all the best, man. Jacked Wilderness. Clay, your consistency streaming has been paying off each week. Well, not right now. These numbers are fake right now. We are, I upset somebody. Again, going back to the whole ego thing with traders. Somebody had an ego, and apparently they thought I was a jerk to them because I would ask them questions, and then they went and ask. And after literally like 10 times, it got to the point where people in the chat were like, please ignore, please block this person. Come on, stop. So I was like, all right, one final time. The person still didn't do it, so I put them on block. And then apparently they know how to do bot attacks or whatever because they came back and like, how do you like your likes? And I was just like, what? Like, that's what I mean. Traders and their egos are so just like messed up. Like, what? Like, I don't know. But yes, in other words, these numbers are not real right now. I day traded stocks for years, ended up barely broke, about even, because profit ends up trading capital, trading prop firms, profit ends up in the... Yeah, exactly. Superfly, just another person coming from trading stocks and now just saying how Pam's plant is legit. Ignore me giving you a probation to give his crazy guy. Thanks. No, great. Now Jack's unsubbed. The other day you went long and I went short at the exact same spot and we both scalped for profit. Yeah, I mean, that's what's cool about the market. That's why it's like, I don't like the market. It's a zero-sum game. There's always a winner and a loser. No. So if you ever heard that, this is how the market works. We have, let's put her purse right here. There we go. We have Grandma Sue. Grandma Sue bought something back in like 1932 for $5. And then, 80 years goes by, and now this thing is worth 150. So, Trader Tom comes along and says, hey, I'll buy that from you, Grandma Sue. So Grandma Sue's like, well, thank you, young man. Thank you, you little whippersnapper. I need this money in my retirement. I'm glad I can bank, so thank you for buying it from me. So Grandma Sue has not lost. Now, Trader Tom, he is at threat of losing, but then this thing goes up to 152. And I don't know, Tom's a day trader, so a nice little day trader helping out Grandma Sue. And then he sells up here to, because I'm so good with my name, Sally Sue. And Sally Sue is going to hold it as an investment. So this is a situation where, no, it's not a zero-sum game where, okay, well, every transaction, somebody's buying, somebody's losing. No, that's not true. Grandma Sue and Trader Tom both were winners in this scenario. How did I get on that topic? Because Nathan said how it's funny how on the live stream I took a trade, I went long, and he shorted. So I was looking at something and I went long. He was looking at the same exact thing and went short, but yet we both made money because we both scalped. So I mean, it is funny how that stuff works like that. Is it worth? Okay. At this point, Grandma Sue greedy? How is Grandma Sue greedy? She invested for 40 years, Jose. You better watch your mouth about Grandma Sue, boy. Don't be talking bad about Grandma Sue. She was disciplined. She saved some money. She invested in that stock and held for 40 years. I was looking around your channel. You're in a prop firm, so where do you keep your money that you blow or that you use to trade options and stocks? Did you blow? A variety of things. I do a lot with real estate. Some of it is sitting in cash, waiting for other opportunities to arise, whether that's in the real estate market. I do private money lending in the real estate market too. So yes, Alfredo, that's where that money is sitting. Oh no, that wasn't a weird question. That was a good question. All right. Let's see here. No, I don't think that was weird, Alfredo. No, that was a good question. That was like a, kind of how are you managing your money type situation. No, that's fair. Yamil had to go bye-bye. I can only take so much. I swear, traders and their egos. Some of them, it's just, some egos are so fragile. It's ridiculous. So fragile. And I've also learned you recognize the fragile ones when like you say something, but then they start arguing against other things. Like I was saying, yeah, Trader really Mel, good job. Like just be careful not to go too far into the one size fits all category. I was giving really solid advice. It's like I never said you weren't giving solid advice, but like they take this, it's weird. It's weird. Like I said, I guess he can't. He's blocked now. But like I need to unblock him because I want to invite him to the live stream. Unhide user on this channel. So yeah, Yamil, you are welcome. Like I said, I'd love to have you. I'd love to have you show up on the live stream on Monday. And I mean, you seem to have a great strategy. Fantastic. That's good. But what would be fantastic, and I think what would probably help us all potentially learn, is this. You just tell us your entry point and your stop loss before the price gets to those areas, and then we'll sit back and learn with you. I have I have zero ego. I could very well learn something from you. I don't know. Maybe you got something that you can walk us through some trades, but like I said, the only contingency is we prefer. The rule is it is, hey, give us your entry point, give us your stop loss before the price gets to that level. And then we'll see what happens. And even if you're wrong, nobody's going to make fun of you because we all have losing trades. But showing up and telling people what they should have done or what you did in the past or just making broad statements, that's not very helpful. You live stream? Yeah, I live stream Monday through Friday. Usually I start right around 11 a.m. Eastern. Can you privately lend me some money to buy multiple prop firms accounts? Yeah, it's in the mail. It should be to you by Monday. I sent you some Bitcoin in an envelope in the mail. Let's drop down to the 30-minute here, or hourly here on the NQ. Let's see what we're looking at. You better be going and signing up for Pam's plant, Jeremy. Like, what's the alternative, Jeremy? What are you going to keep doing? Small cap momentum stocks? Is that what you're going to keep doing? Keep roasting yourself? So near-term area of resistance, about 21,420 seems to be that level where, ever since it fell below, just could not quite push above it. Tried a little bit right there late day on Friday, but then fell back below. Like Jeremy, you have like zero excuse. Some people show up and they're like brand new, where they've actually never done the small cap momentum stuff. And I do understand that position because in their mind, they're like, well, you're saying all this stuff, but I haven't, like, how do I know that's not true? Like, this stuff does seem really good, these small cap momentum stocks. So some people, they need to go and get their teeth kicked in first. And they're like, okay, yeah, fair enough, that guy was right. But like, you've already done it. Like, you know exactly what I mean. You've already admitted you're struggling, so you're going to keep doing the thing that you're struggling with? Come on, man. Come on, brother. Interesting dynamic here. A little bit of indecision. Is this thing getting ready to roll back over? Maybe. So here's something else I was thinking about. Let me know your thoughts on this. So Trader Yamil. Yamil makes me think they're maybe not necessarily from the United States, which I don't have a problem with. But here's what I'm wondering. I noticed that a lot of these kind of like trash talkers like have the names that I would not consider associated with the United States. So is there a possibility that maybe I am misunderstanding their culture, maybe English isn't their first language? Like, I don't know. Is that like a possibility? But why does it seem like if somebody shows up with more of a foreign name, like it seems like they're the ones that talk trash, that, like this guy, Brokey, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just, we're talking past one another because of some sort of cultural or language. I don't know. Or am I overthinking it? Let me know your thoughts. So 30-minute time frame. All right, so what we have interesting here headed into next week. Little bull pennant, not little, nice bull pennant there. The only thing that makes it a little sketchy is it's not like, if this was happening in like a very clear uptrend, that'd be pretty solid, but this isn't quite checking that box. It is nice, but it just has me a little leery because it is technically happening in basically kind of an overall downtrend. But the 50 period has leveled out, so maybe this downtrend is ending. I don't know. Yeah, so put me on team skeptical of the bull pennant as we head into the new week here. But yes, if it can continue to maintain, look how it's respecting that purple line there, the 50 period moving average, which classic example here, check it out. Former area of resistance, now behaving as support. People like that banter and most are poor listeners. Yeah, I have noticed that. And that's the one thing that is understandable to an extent with live streams. I understand a lot of people say stuff, but then they're like still working, and I know a lot of live streamers don't necessarily interact, so sometimes they just assume they're not going to interact. So yeah, but yes, that I could see that being the case. Okay, I'm overthinking it. He was communicating very clear that you would make us all. Okay, well, see that like he's just assuming that I guess everybody here is a bunch of sheep. I guess I don't know. To be fair to him, perhaps he's coming from an environment where everybody is sheep, so he thinks that all environments are everybody's sheep. So maybe that's to try to be fair on both sides. The only cultural differences I can think of is that some religions don't like using leverage because it's borrowing money, but that's not that common. Okay, yeah, he didn't seem to have any sort of, that didn't seem to be his complaint. Overthinking it, Clay. Okay, so Frank and Nathan tell me I'm overthinking it. I see that you seem to like to scalp. Do you find that sometimes scalping can lead to a... yeah, I mean, if you're going to scalp, then you certainly need to have a higher win rate. Like, if you say I'm a, like, especially if you're like a micro scalper and I'm at like a, and I have a 55% win rate, yeah, that's not going to be good enough. So, like this let me look, so we can look at some actual data here. Because this was purely, I call it sniper shots, but this was purely, I don't want to do that one. Okay, let me look this up real quick. Because this would be, to my point, like if you're just gonna do purely micro scalps, then and I'm at a 50% win rate, yeah, that's not gonna be good enough. There we go. Okay, so when I was doing SPX options, I collected a bunch of data. Because who was it? TraderView. TraderView reached out to me like, hey, let's do some sort of partnership. I said, okay, I'll give your software a try. Okay, we got to get the video going here. Okay, there we go. Okay, that should be good. Let's see. Okay, so this was a sample size of... Okay, so total number of trades, 509. The number of losing trades I had was 65. So of the 509, 65 losing trades. So 13% basically. So the number of winning trades was at 84%. Now to Alfredo's question, can things get inverted? No, Jamie K, we're under a bot attack. That's not real likes. That's not real concurrent viewers. I upset somebody early on in the week, so now they're like sending bots. However it works, I don't know. But the where is it? Yes. So right here, average winning trade, $60. Average losing trade, $150. So yes, that is clearly an inverted risk reward, but scalping done right, scalping, that is where things can be made up for right there. Because my winning, I won a whole lot more than I lost. So, that is some data right there. Okay, and what's the relevance of that, Alfredo? What is the relevance of that at all? Yeah, and none of that's true, Drew. I did a little research. A VPN doesn't prevent any of that stuff. Yeah, no, but Zach, it's not real. I know my normal numbers on these things, and it's not that. Like I said, somebody got upset. Long story short, somebody showed up, said, hey, I have a 100% win rate or near 100% win rate with an algo. I said, okay, well, that's cool, but like, let's see, can you give us some trades? And they kept talking about these levels, and I said, well, we don't necessarily care about the levels. Tell us what we're supposed to do with these levels. So can you give us an entry point and a stop loss before the price gets there? And they just wouldn't do it. And after asking about 10 times, the chat started to revolt, and they're like, ignore this guy, ban this guy. So I ended up banning them, and then they got upset. Yeah, I'm angry, no. A little frustrated, Alfredo, yes, yes. Because it was a different type of trading. No, it wasn't. You asked about scalping. I just showed you scalping. It's technical trading. So angry, no. A little bit of frustration, yes. Yes. Nice job, Nathan. Just be aggressive with your profit taking, Hummingbird Mom. That's the best way to go about it. Or just move your stop loss up as it goes in your favor. Go up. Okay, that's why. I was like, why did it? Because Alfred, there's always a little negative connotation to everything. Like your first message was like, did you blow up the account? So, I mean, you're like, did you blow it up? Like instead of like, hey, maybe it's just in other things. Like, so yeah, there you seem to always be putting a negative twist on things. So that I want to like, why did I do? That's why. And then you seem angry. So it's like you're poking and prodding, and then they're like, what? I didn't do anything. Poke, poke, poke. Did you blow up your account? What? Poke, poke, poke. Are you a poker, Alfredo? I think you're a poker, and then you pull out the. So in one hand you have the poking stick, and then in the other hand you have the victim card. Poke, poke, poke. Wait, man, what are you talking about? I didn't do anything. You seem angry. What would we call something like that? That in one hand has the poking stick, and the other hand has the victim card. What is somebody like that called? Maybe just a tiny bit defense. No. I'm definitely defensive. That's the other thing. I can't. Okay, I got to rave on this. When anybody starts to throw stuff at you, and then you defend yourself, which is what you're always doing. If somebody makes a claim, and then you begin to defend yourself, they're like, "Why are you being defensive?" It's like I don't even know what that's called, but that's like not good faith. It's like, well, yes, by definition, if I am defending myself, I am defensive. So no, I'm not a tiny bit defensive. I am defensive per the definition of being defensive. I am defending myself. Nathan, gotta delete that out. I'm not trying to step into that territory. You naughty, naughty person. You naughty, naughty person. Zach, I gotta delete you, naughty, naughty person. I will talk about a lot of stuff here, but when it comes to politics, all that is allowed is all politicians spend too much money. Why can I say that? Because that's a talk. That's a money talk. That's economics. That stuff is on topic. We can talk economics here, no problem. But I'm not trying to go down that pathway. It's called a passive aggressive. Yeah, I don't know what it's called, but there's something there. I don't know if we really need to drop down to the 5-minute on this one. But since we're here, the levels that immediately stand out, we have the 200 period moving average, we have the 50 period moving average, but again, probably got to let more stuff play out. What was Alfredo's last question? Because it was different type. Okay, I answered that. It's not a different type of trading. It's scalping with the chart. So Alfredo, I already went over this, but he's illustrating another key thing. So a lot of people, and maybe this is you like what you see with Pam's plant, and you're like, oh, that makes so much sense, but I don't want to have to start to trade a different thing. I don't want to have to learn how to trade a different thing. I don't want to have to learn about futures And it's like, if you use a chart already for decisions, so if you use a chart right now to day trade stocks, fantastic, because you should use charts to day trade futures. The only difference for you becomes, instead of now using a chart to day trade stocks, you're using a chart to day trade futures. So then you just have that 3% of learning how the point system works, which is very easy. So no, people think like, oh, well, you're trading a different thing. And I think in their mind, that makes everything massively different. It's like, no, you can scalp options just like you could scalp stocks, just like you could scalp cryptos, just like you can scalp futures. It's called a narcissism. Maybe it is narcissism. A lot of people keep saying that narcissism. It's like me showing, like, let's just say those results were options trading just all bull flags. And then it's like, yeah, but when was that? Because you were trading something different. No, I was trading bull flags. Sure, one bull flag had to do with options, the other bull flag had to do with stocks, or the other bull flag had to do with crypto, or the other bull flag had to do with Forex, but they're all bull flags. So yeah, a setup is a setup. That's why I preach and why I love charts. Because a chart just tells you something about a value, and if that value changes as time goes by, then a chart is useful. So if the thing that you are trading has a value, and if that value changes as time goes by, then you can, there you go, the power of charts. Oh yeah. It's not gonna lie, that was my logic for trying futures. I'm like, I don't want to have to learn something else because I'm focused on trade. Yeah, exactly. And I was somewhat in that camp too. Some of it was just stupid stubbornness on my part, me being a stubborn donkey. I can admit that too. But yeah. So like I said, nobody's stupid for thinking that way. Like, I don't want to have to learn how to trade something totally new, but it's like, that's why I always ask people, well, do you already use charts? Boom. And they're like, well, yeah. I'm like, okay, you're 97% of the way there. Jeremy, man, what did I just say? I want you to answer that question, Jeremy. Because Jeremy Simpson, I know you were just listening to the past 97 seconds. So I want you to answer that question for me. Because I literally just addressed that. So I am confident that you can answer that question. Here's one for y'all. What's a reasonable target on a 50K account? No. Now, I'm not saying this should be the goal, because I don't know really anything about you, Zach, but I will say $250 in the world of futures is reasonable. Okay, and per the premise of your question, would $250 be insane? No. $250 in a day trading futures is not, by any stretch of the imagination, insane. So I can say that. I guess I kind of missed that part. But yes, per that, if that's the baseline, is insane. Now, if you're like, I want $25,000 per day, okay, that is insane. I want $2,500 per day. I'm not going to say that's insane, but you're within the realm of being insane. But $250, no, that would not be insane. Yeah, yes, Jeremy, you can. In fact, I can't show you right now, but yeah, I use VWAP. I use VWAP as one of my indicators. So yes, all that stuff does indeed work in futures. I see that a prop firm has two levels of pro accounts, a sim and a live. It seems that the firm want you to either be in the plus account or never get out of the test account, right? Correct, Alfredo. Good observation, and that is exactly why I like Take Profit Trader, because it reveals a viable business model. Because once you get here, then, whoops, poor color choice, Clay. Once you get here, all your profits are coming from the market itself. So when they're paying you, it's coming from the market itself. Whereas these ones, when you're in the sim, or when you're in that sim right there, still in the pro, you're getting paid from people blowing up these accounts. You're being paid from, well, you're being paid from the 10% that they make on these people. Because that's the one thing is on the Pro Plus Live, the 90% that they're paying you is no longer coming from the firm's pocket. It's coming from just the general market's pocket. And they're also making 10%. But yes, that is exactly how it works. Is they either want you to stay in the test phase, because if you're staying in the test, that just means you're blowing up one account after another, and they are making money that way. Or they want you to get over here. That is a 100% accurate statement. Good observation. And that is also an example of why exactly I feel comfortable putting my name next to Take Profit Trader, because it is a viable business model. Because eventually they're going to be like, hey, you're making too much here. Get to the Pro Plus, because that is the live market. And then we can start to get 10% of those juicy gains. Planning to get my feet in the water. Reference to old timers in the channel. Well, Zach, I hope you assuming MNQ. Yes. I recommend starting with MNQ. Do not, and I repeat, do not start with NQ, okay? NQ will eat your lunch so fast. Granted, it can really go in your favor very fast, but yeah, don't do that. Do you... yeah, I have a variety of accounts. Yep. I get benefits because it is a referral link. So yes, if you use code Clay, I get the benefit of, I get a little slice of the pie. Yeah, MNQ would be the way to go, Zach. But the best way to go when you check out, and this is a shout out for Alfredo, use code Clay to support the channel. If you want my kids to eat tonight, code Clay. Is the daily payouts only on Pro Plus? Nope. Once you get again, in theory, you could start to get payments on day number 6, because the test phase is a minimum of 5 days. So you have to do 5 days regardless, 5 days. But in theory, day number 6, when you're in the Pro account, you could be getting money sent to your checking account. Do you have thoughts on IMNN? Well, Pops Mafia, unless you're going to throw up a super chat, pick one of those. Pick one of those, brother, and I'll give some thoughts on it. Correct. Yes. Exactly, Alfredo. Well, from my research, Drew, none of that stuff matters. It just kind of comes with the territory, and the best thing to do is just to quick report it to YouTube so they know that it's not you artificially manipulating things, so they don't, penalize your channel or anything. And I don't know if it is actually hurting. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's hurting or not. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. I'd like to have I'd like to make amends, because he was honestly a nice guy. I talked to him the day before, and then I was so confused because when he showed up, like he refused to give me those numbers, and it was a very bizarre experience, because the day before he was super respectful, really nice. So I'm hoping he's coming back. So I'm not looking to pick anything with him. I'm not looking for what you proposed to do. Well, I don't care. I'm not looking to hunt him down. I want him to speak up again so that we can see this algorithm, so he can start to call stuff out beforehand. Because as I was telling Yamar, or whatever that guy's name was, I will never say that I have everything figured out. I will always say, maybe I got something to learn. But in order to learn, you kind of gotta. It's hard to learn in hindsight. Like, okay, see, you should have done this, this, and this, right? That's what books do. But like, if people show up and they're like, all right, my script, my algo says to buy here and then put the stop loss there, and this is all being told to us before the price gets to any of those levels, and then you see stuff like that work out, it's like, okay, yeah, now we're learning. But if people are not willing to do that, then it's like, okay, well, then it's hard to learn that way. So no, I'm not looking to hunt down the person. I am going to continue to request that they, create another name, speak up, and so that we can see their algorithm work. As for me, I like the NQ. Like I said, Zach, I've said my 2 cents. If you want to start on the NQ, Zach, be my guest. Be my guest. This is a great channel. I'm glad I found this. Great information. Thanks, MacD. MacD, out of curiosity, when did you find the channel? Oh, somebody asked about IMNN. Are you going to join, Alfredo? You going to get started with Pam's plan, Alfredo? I will say, some people... what am I looking up? IMNN. All right. IMNN. I hope you're not day trading this nonsense. Very, very risky. Grinded up my Apex 150K account with a lot of discipline. Every day about 500, but went on tilt yesterday. Blew it up and had to reset it 2 times. Full tilt gambling mode. Oh, man. Well, Manuel, I don't like to read that. That's rough, but I will say I'm glad that you went on tilt within the prop firm environment, as opposed to you using all of your funds, your money, and then going on tilt. And then when you say you blow up an account, it's sort of like, no, man, like I literally cannot trade anymore because I don't have any money left. So to try to look at the glass as half full, Manuel, at least you're in a prop firm environment to go on tilt. I'd much rather have that as opposed to, in your words, full tilt gambling mode with all of your money at risk. So yeah, this one got the breakout. So nice breakout there of the consolidation. This is a little worrisome how much it pulled back, but I wouldn't say that's destroyed the chart or anything like that. But let's look at this on the 30-minute. Okay, yeah, 30-minute. That's not too shabby. So 30-minute right here. Got an interesting level. Keep an eye on as that initial area of resistance. Definitely, it's not do or die, but I wouldn't want to see the price falling back inside of that red line right there. Because if the price were to come down here and then fall back below, at that point, the price is basically right back inside of this previous breakout territory. And that's not necessarily what you want to see from something that's a truly strong breakout. If something's truly strong, doesn't mean it's going to go straight up, but is at least going to show some progress. But I realize right now I'm making broad statements, show some progress. Like, what does that actually mean? Well, that's why I love charts, because they allow you to take broad statements and make them clarified. So when I say show signs of progress being staying up above the red line there, or definitely staying up above that purple line there, the 50-period moving average, which per its name, moving average, is going to move as time goes by. So I went on tilt also, but then ended up passing. Well, so the markets were nice to you. So I'm glad your tilt ended up in you passing, but there's gonna come a time where you going on tilt does not yield the results that you wanted them to yield. So Zach, are you just learning about futures and Pam's plant, or have you been like where are you currently trading? So, all right. Well, there's my. I don't even know if what Pops Media, whatever. I don't remember the guy's name. I think it was Papa or Pops Media, something like that. I don't know if they're still here or not. But yeah, I appreciate you sharing that, Manuel. Never the easiest thing to come and share stuff like that publicly, but nothing but respect. We've been there. Or I don't want to speak for other people. I do not have a mouse in my pocket. I've been there before. So, and from my experience, other people have too. So you're not alone. I'm just glad you were, like I said, in the prop firm environment. Because going on full tilt gambling mode with your real money, which I may or may not have been there before at some point in my career. In fact, let me see if I can. So Alfredo is gone. Alfredo, I hope he. But sometimes people show up, they ask 800 million questions, and like, you're gonna do it. They're like, no. It's like, okay. Was that October? I'm trying to think of. Doggone it. Currently not trading, but soon to start futures. I did small caps when you were there. Switched to options after you did, and now. Oh, nice, Zach. Good stuff. I know it was pure luck. Just got super revenge trading 8 NQ. Oh, boy. Well, I'm at least to give credit where credit's due, you are admitting that it was pure luck. Nothing more scary than when you recognize what somebody's doing is pure luck, and they think it's skill. It's like, oh, boy. Of course, if you try to tell that person that it's luck, then you're a hater, you're jealous. It's like, I get it. I understand. There's an oldie but goodie. I like that one. Oh, wait, is this going to be one of them? Is this it? No, that's something different. I'm looking for a video where it was just. So here's one where, I mean, this is like the horror stories that exist. Let's see. I tried to do this, trade my way out of debt. Ooh, yeah, don't do that. And Yelda got burned. I actually lived off credit card debt due to a few months so I could save up to the 25K PDT rule. So this was back in the day before Pam's Plant was even a thing. But I mean, that stupid pattern day trader rule. I mean, it's causing people to live off credit card debt because they're trying to save up to PDT or the 25K so they can actually be a day trader. I'm telling you, if you're just getting in the market now, you have a lot to be grateful for. On a 50K account on MES, a safest max number contract trade. Hummingbird, I don't know. I have no idea. That's the stuff you got to kind of putz around with. Start small. Let's do this, Hummingbird. Well, I guess my first question, why MES? Why not MNQ? Regardless of your answer, start with one MES. See how you feel about one MES. Start with there. New to trading, difference between options and futures. Alan, just so I can make sure. Alan, are you wanting to day trade or no? Are you wanting to be a day trader? Is that the category you're in? Because it's important to establish a category. So, Alan, when you are asking this question about options and futures, are you asking about from a day trading standpoint? Yeah, this was not actually. So that's the thing. We'll be like, you hide your losses. I'm like, man, just go to the website and search for lose. You'll see all kinds of losses, losing trades, all sorts of stuff. No, that's not it. Maybe I should just go to the end. Maybe it's more towards here. There's something that. I don't know. I have too many videos at this point. That's the problem with being around since 2013. Thousands of videos. I don't know where it's at. I can't remember what it was either. We'll see if this brings. I don't even remember what it was. Was this it? Yeah, so here's. Is it showing up here? Yeah. So here's an example of just when just going on tilt. Like when I said I've been there before, I've been there before where you just have these sorts of months where, I mean, you start off. Anyway, so here's the other thing. Here's the other thing about what I absolutely love. I love it. I love this, okay? If I can't emphasize this enough, I love it. I love it. So this is day trading stocks. And I'm not saying this to brag or to flex or anything. I'm just explaining this about why I love Pam's plan from my position as a, whatever you want to call me, influencer, coach, mentor, whatever you want to call me. I don't care, but I love it. So notice my account size, $100,000. Now, again, I'm not saying that's a brag. I'm just saying that back in the day when people would throw in my face, hey, Clay, cool stuff. I see you day trading these stocks and all this sort of stuff, but I don't have anywhere close to the amount of money that you're throwing around. And it always would drive me nuts because it's like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, because in order to be a day trader of stocks, you got to have at least the $25,000. But now it's so refreshing that I mentioned how much I love this fact. That now when people are like, whoops, now when people are like, what is going on here? There we go. When people are like, well, Clay, I can't be a day trader. I don't have $25,000 like you. I love to be like, hey, there's this thing called Pam's Plant. There's this thing called the futures market where there's no pattern day trading rule. There's this thing called prop firms where you need very, very little capital. You don't need anywhere close to $25,000. In this situation, you could become a day trader. Day trader being defined as being able to buy and sell as much as you want every single day. You could do that for literally as little as, do you have $105? Like I said, this doesn't mean anything to probably anybody here, but I love this fact. I love where I can no longer have something thrown in my face, which again, it drove me nuts because it was a totally valid thing. Good for you, Clay. But I can't be day trading like you are because I don't have the $25,000. But, now I can say, hey, not an excuse. You can. You can do the exact same thing you see me doing because I'm doing Pam's Plant. I'm day trading futures through a prop firm. So if you have $105, you can literally be a day trader. You can buy and sell every single day as much as you want. So, yes, I love it. I love that fact alone where I can no longer have that thrown in my face. But that just sparked my attention. But point being was about tilt and how things can just go bad and then you set yourself way far behind. And that's what I had here. So, I mean, I started off this month back in February of 2018. Yeah, great start to the month. Great job, Clay. I don't know, but just boom. And then another one, but boom. And then finally found my groove and, consistency with the rest. But again, these couple days here really just can jack up a month. So that's why I always tell people, you could have a very good, solid strategy, but if you go on tilt, all it takes is 1 or 2 trades, 1 or 2 days like you have here. And man, that puts a damper on a month. Oh, so it must have been worse on one of those days. Did I fight back? Let's see. Okay. Okay, I just said the word ego, so I clearly had ego. I don't know. Am I the only one that suffers from ego every now and then in my trading? Okay, yeah. So here's a trade. It was on Apple. There it was. So yeah, I took a trade on Apple. I lost $2,400 on it. The rest of the day, which was, this is total speculation. This was back in 2018. I don't remember. I can barely remember what happened on Friday. But yeah, I'm assuming these probably weren't necessarily all the greatest of trades. I don't know. But yeah, going on tilt, No bueno. Can you explain how time decay works with options that... Oh, wait. Oh, are you serious? Alan, you're not here anymore? You asked that question, then you bailed 2 minutes later? Can you explain how time decay works with options that are 3 to 4 weeks out as opposed... No, that's way out of the scope of this. Way out of the scope of this. Really wanted. That was not the one I was looking for. I was looking for another train wreck of a month. Or I should say train wreck of a trade, but I don't remember what. This one right here. This guy is the best trader that we've come across. He verifiably had like a $1.2 million multi-year swing trade. He was telling the chat room about AMD and Squarespace. He was loading up on AMD back, I don't know, what was it, like 10 years ago now when AMD was like $5 a share or something. But yeah, he was like I said, he was well ahead of most of us in the world of futures. But it's funny. Here we got, and this is from, I don't know if I can see when this was written. Oh, here we go. So 2016. 9 years ago, this guy beat so many people to the punch of how awesome futures are. But yeah, he broke down his whole trade right here for us in terms of his futures trade. But yeah, $51,000 in a single day. Now, this was before prop firm, so he was doing this with his own money. But yeah, just sorry, I keep distracting myself. I wanted to find something. How to check for short squeeze. Don't check for short squeezes. I don't know. Dung, are you still here? I'd love to point you in a different direction. Is it advantage to day trade options David, don't day trade options at all. Don't day trade options at all. You're working inefficiently. Okay. The only reason so let me ask you this, Dung. Would you like to be a day trader? Day trader being defined as being able to buy and sell as much as you want every single day. And as the reason why you're looking for short squeezes is because you don't have a whole lot of money, so you're trying to grow that money so that you can actually actively day trade more. Is that maybe where you're at, Dung? Is that kind of why you're asking about short squeezes and how to find short squeezes? Because you'd like to be able to day trade, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell every single day as much as you want. But yeah, you don't quite have the amount of money required. So you're trying to find these smaller stocks that'll short squeeze so that you can grow that smaller amount into a larger amount so that you can day trade. Does that sound like your situation that I just described, Dung? All right. Well, I can't find the thing where I don't ruin my month. Maybe this is one of them. Oh, okay, so here, not the one I was looking for. Well, it is time for some trader transparency. All right, let's see. All right, well, on this one, I guess I was just going through a trade where I apparently did something real stupid. $4,500. And again, this is before the prop firm. So when I say a $4,500 loss, like that was like my money gone. Not like, oh, I just lost my prop firm account, but it was actually only $100 because that's what I paid for the account. No. This was all my money gone. But I can't find what I was looking for. Okay, why not day trade options? Well, this is why right here. Because you get to say goodbye to theta and strike prices. But why do I say that day trading options is literally one of the most inefficient things that you can do? I guess we can do it right here. So when you, and I think you probably already know this, but so when you buy, for the people that don't know, if they're thinking about day trading options, why I say don't. It makes no mathematical sense. So when you buy an option, the obvious way to make money is it goes up, right? Okay, yeah, fair enough. You make money. It went up. The obvious way to lose money is you buy it and then it goes down. So of course, okay, fair enough. You lose money. What happens if it goes sideways? Now, rational people are going to be like, well, that's the neutral spot. You don't make money, you don't lose money because it went sideways. But in options, you lose money because there is this thing called theta. So think about it. Anything you buy, one of three things can happen. And this could be a piece of real estate, it could be a car, it could be a baseball card. But the value can either go up, it can go down, or it can go sideways. In the world of futures, of those three things that can happen, two of them will cause you to lose money. In other words, you have a 67% chance of losing money every single time you enter into an options day trade. Now, please don't be like, but Clay, I make money day trading options. That's actually amazing. Well done to you. My question to you would be, can you imagine how much more money you would have made or you would be making if you did not have to deal with theta? And you know what allows you to still trade contracts, but without having to deal with theta? Futures right here. Say goodbye to theta. So why, oh why, would you put yourself in a spot where you have a 67% chance to lose money when you have an alternative mode to trade something? But by the way, futures just move better than options anyways. But setting that aside, why would you choose to trade something that you have a 67% chance to lose money when you don't actually have to? So that is why, and this comes from one of that day traded options, and again, when I say it doesn't make any sense, that's not like based out of emotion. That's based out of, because when you stop and think about it, sense, like when you say it makes no sense, that means there's not any logic. And logic is just math, right? That's all math is it's a way to illustrate logic. It's a way to illustrate a structure. So when I say it makes no sense to day trade options, I mean that very, very literally in every sense of the word. Unless you think that having a 67% chance of losing every time you enter into a trade is good. Again, to anybody listening, please don't type, but Clay, I make money day trading options. Fantastic. That's not the argument. The argument is not you can't make money day trading other things. The argument is if you want to day trade most efficiently, day trading futures through a prop firm is the best way to go about that. That's what the argument actually is. Does that make sense, David? Question, Clay. I'm watching some of your pre-market YouTube videos. I see that you use micro DQ, DOM, and use the NQ chart to trade. Oh, no. Oh. You're talking about yeah, I don't use the DOM. I put it on the screen because I know some people use it and like to watch it, but I do not use it. Does that all make sense, though, David? No, I specifically am saying this about day trading. If you're in the category of swing trading, you can do some really cool things with options. If you're in the category of investing, you can do some cool things with options. You can do covered calls, you can do cash secured puts, you can do some really cool things. But in the category of day trading options, no, because of theta. 67% chance to lose money every single time you enter a trade. That is no bueno, muchacho. But please. It looks like people are listening because nobody has typed in, yes, Clay, but I make money day trading options. It's like, it's not an argument. Pam's plant, this is not an argument that you can't make money day trading other things. It's just you are working harder, not smarter. Good question, though. I'm glad. I really wish Alan was still here. He was asking what the difference is. And same with you, Dung. You never responded to me either, man. I'm trying to help people out and they just disappear. Drives me insane. As somebody that truly actually wants to help somebody out, and you're trying to help somebody out, and then they just disappear, man, that grinds my gears. Drives me nuts. So Dung and Alan, you guys are both gone. Zach, are you a member of the private community? Or are you a member of the mentorship program? Abdu, how much money you made in trading in your career? Enough to make it worth my time. Enough to keep food on the table for my family. But trading is just one stream of many. I'm not a full-time day trader. I've never been a full-time day trader. I'm not capable of being a full-time day trader. In fact, I would go as far as to say, if you have a goal of, I want to be a full-time day trader, that is a poor goal. It is my belief, and this belief comes based off of studying wealthy people. Every wealthy person I've studied has one thing in common. They have multiple streams of income. So I would propose that the best goal is I want to become a full-time income stream creator, because that's what I'm doing. So, and you know what? You don't know any full-time traders either. Well, I know so-and-so, and let me guess, you're going to give me somebody with a YouTube channel, somebody with a social media presence, somebody with a TikTok thing where they're selling t-shirts or subscriptions, and there's nothing wrong with any of that. Nothing wrong at all. In fact, I applaud those people because at least they have multiple streams of income. But the point is, they're not a full-time trader either because they have many streams of income. So, how much money? I don't know. And even if I did know, I'm not telling you because quite frankly, it's none of your business. But I will say this. Trading has opened up many doors, many income streams, including this one right here, Code Clay. So trading has opened up a pathway to sit here, talk about Pam's plant, and try to help people out. And if they appreciate the help and want to support, they can use Code Clay. And you know what? That puts a little money in my pocket. Do you get the payout gains you made in the sim account once you switch? Well, you get as much as what you request out. No, man, I stuck with you. Okay, all right, Zach. You're talking like you maybe been part of the community, but you need to just record the speech. I guess I have a trader view code. I don't know. I don't know if it still works anymore. Maybe, just maybe. Let's see. I think it still works. I don't remember what the deal is. It's 25% off the gold plan. Okay, so I guess I think it still works. I'll throw it in the chat room if you wanted it, but like I said, I'm not. It seems as though it works, but I can't say whether or not it for sure works. David, it makes sense. Yeah, I have had quite a lot of gains days trading options by looking at the technicals on this volatile stocks and listening to live streams. Yeah. Again, David, I think that if you gave futures a try, let me put it this way, David, of the people that have, yes, I have made quite a lot of gains trading options by looking at the technicals on the volatile stocks and listening to live stream. But I've never looked into trading options. I think you got a typo somewhere because up above you're saying you've made gains day trading options, but then down here you're saying, but I've never looked into trading. Okay. I think you meant, yeah, okay. So your typo is you've never looked into trading futures before. That must be your typo. But yeah, I tell you, it's right here, David, we've had many. And I don't know if some people are still here or not, that have come from day trading options. And then they okay, yeah, here's one of them. It's the walk to you. So the guy right below that just said, David, it's the walk to you is one of the people that over the course, he was actually one of the first, but he used to day trade options. And then he tried futures. And yeah, he's like, nope, never going back to day trading options. Futures are way better. So yeah, he's one of the people that I was alluding to. Yeah. But again, David, the argument is not just Pam's. It's Pam's plant. Do it through a prop firm because of this right here. You think options move, it's going to seem like you're watching paint dry compared to futures. So that's why you want to do it in a prop firm because, yes, futures will eat your lunch in a hurry if you're not careful. So operate within the prop firm environment and give yourself that extra protection. Yeah, have a good one, Jose. We were looking at this one. Are there any other? So the other one that is going to ultimately just roast people is this one right here. So this is one that's like a good bumper sticker for the small cap people. See, come trade small caps. This thing was at $7 and went up as high as 115. I mean, that's true. That's true, but let's look at like the actual details of this thing. And the fact of the matter is that there were moments here where people got stuck. So people would have bought right here and then literally, actually, let's just go to the 1 minute so you can see just exactly what I mean. So right here, this movement started. So this was right here at a moment. So it was right there, pulled back a little bit. So some people probably bought the pullback at 121. And then, again, these are 1 minute candles. So in 1 minute, went from 121 down to 103. So that's like wrecked. But then it halted, meaning the stock stopped trading. So people got stuck right there. And then when it opened back up, it opened up down there, which is the crazy part of halts. Like a halt, to be fair, it can work in your favor, but it can also just, the stock can stop trading right there. And then all of a sudden it can open up down here. So if you bought right here, by the time the stock starts trading again, the best you can do for a sell is right here. So if you had a stop loss right there, it doesn't matter. So, I mean, yeah, small account. Again, I understand why people do it because they operate under the premise of small account. Therefore, I need to grow my money quickly so I can get over these amounts. But, yeah, it's not needed anymore in this day and age. So, well, we've been on for almost 2.5 hours, and I'm going to go ahead and move on with my Saturday. So I will be back Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern time at the latest. I might be back a little sooner. So, as always, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notifications. So that you know when I do go live. And, because, yeah, most days I show up early, but, so, yeah, you'll want to make sure that you hit this. What else? Oh, yeah. And then I did want to do this because I want to give a shout out more to this. What was it? What else? So what I could not think of was this right here. So if you are in the market for a computer, I'm not being paid to do anything like this. Other than I know sometimes people are wondering. But check out this free guide on how to build trading computers. This company built my newest computer. Absolutely love it. And one of those things where check out that guide and you can drop them an email, Dionys. I don't know. I'm moving on. I see you just sent me. I got to keep moving though. But yeah, drop them a message. But yeah, check out that guide. It was very helpful. And if you're thinking about building your own computer, then you can check out that guide. Or if you're like, nah, I think it'd be more efficient for somebody else to do it, then that company does it. But I want to talk about that more because I actually am very pleased. So much so that I'm like, yeah, I'll talk about your company. I'll share this guide with people. And I don't get any sort of kickback. Now, if you use code Clay for the prop firms, yes, I will get a little slice of the pie. But with this company, nope, I'm just saying that free of charge. But yes. Again, if you want to get into Pam's plant, you want to support the channel, and I should note this for all our prop firm traders. If you are already a prop firm trader and you're in the more of the intermediate to advanced category of prop firm trading and you use Apex and you want to support the channel, code Clay. But regardless of your level, I would, even if you're intermediate or advanced and have never used Take Profit, definitely give them a try. I mean, the best payment policy in the business as far as I'm concerned. And like I said, if you want to get the current promotions, you want to support the channel, please use code Clay. Thank you in advanced. So, and yeah, that's all I have. So everybody have a great weekend, rest of your weekend. And for those of you that hang out on the live streams, I'll see you back on Monday morning. Everybody take care. Have a good rest of your weekend.